Hi! It's a great day to be alive, isn't it? If you are a person with a disability, a caregiver, a family member, a friend, or someone interested in the disability lifestyle, you've come to the right place. Welcome to An Apple a Day, Living with a Disability. We're not only a podcast but also a resource and a community. This is the place where we will share experiences and learn from others as we overcome barriers and discuss the ways to live a happy, healthy life, not as disabled people but as people with disabilities. Welcome to the community. Here's your host, Jimmy Apple.
Welcome to the 401st episode of An Apple a Day. I'm your host, Jimmy Apple. How are you feeling today, my friends? You feeling good? You feeling strong? You feeling better than you did yesterday? Excellent. You cannot ask for better than that. It's been a while since I've been here. Actually, it's been since February 17th. I've been in the hospital. I'm not going to get into it today. I'm lucky to be here. I'll go into it at a later date, in a later episode, what's going on with me. I'll be in and out of the hospital for the next while. But I'm here today, and I'm so happy to be here. I missed you guys tremendously. I appreciate all the emails I've been receiving, and that's the whole idea of today's show. I've taken the emails and I've taken the ones that I've got the most questions about, and that's the topic for today's show. We're going to talk about Social Security disability attorneys. I know some people are like, oh, we've talked about this before, but no, we're going to go into depth about it a little bit. People always wonder, who pays them? Who pays the Social Security disability attorney? What happens if the case gets denied? Who pays them then? Do they still get paid? These are all good questions. We've been discussing these with certain people through email over the last couple of months. I noticed that I've gotten a good amount of email about Social Security disability attorneys, whether they're necessary or not. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Honestly, I didn't use an attorney when I applied for Social Security disability. Now, attorneys will tell you, oh, the application is so complex, you need someone to fill it out for you. Well, truthfully, it is a little bit complex. You have to know how to read. If you know how to read, you can fill out the application. That being said, some people freeze up when you get an application like this because it is a very long application. You have to get your medical records from your doctor for certain parts of it. So it is involved. But yes, you can do it. But some people feel better with an attorney. Now, there is no right or wrong answer. If you feel better with an attorney, get an attorney. If you feel better doing it yourself, do it yourself. An attorney isn't necessary. It's not required. It's a personal preference. Having an attorney doesn't guarantee that you're going to get Social Security disability benefits. It doesn't guarantee it. I don't care what they tell you or who tells you what. It does not guarantee it. Doing it by yourself does not guarantee that you're not going to get your benefits. What guarantees you're going to get your benefits or not get your benefits is telling the truth. All these little things, these little gimmicks that some of the attorneys put out there. Now, I've been looking at YouTube videos, preparing for this, looking at all the lawyer videos that they have out there, and there's one in particular from Florida. This guy annoys me because what he's doing is telling people basically, if you watch his videos, how to try and cheat the system. He's telling you how to answer the questions, how to appear, how to dress, how to look, how to act. You go to these hearings, you go there and you behave as yourself. You be honest with the judge. If the judge asks you how you feel, you tell him honestly. You don't need some lawyer to put words in your mouth. You answer honestly. And if your honesty doesn't win you Social Security disability benefits, then you're not eligible. Pure and simple. Honesty is the best policy. I know that sounds cliche, but if you don't lie, you don't have to have a good memory. Tell the truth and there's no problems. Once you start lying, you have to remember so much. You're going to get so tied up. You're going to ruin yourself. You could end up with legal charges against you because it's not a victimless crime if you try to defraud the Social Security system. It's not a slap on the wrist. It's a crime. Yeah, you go to prison. So maybe you should have an attorney. I want you to listen to what Dave has to tell us about Social Security disability attorneys. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're good. I will say this, the attorneys are hardworking people. They're not bad people. They have a job to do, and that's their job. But listen to what Dave has to say, and we're going to talk more about it afterwards. So sit back, relax, and listen to what Dave has to tell us about Social Security disability attorneys.
Thanks, Jimmy. Today we are talking about SSD or Social Security disability attorneys. How much do they get paid? Who pays them? Do they get paid if your claim gets denied? Social Security limits attorney fees to 25% of your back pay, up to $7,200, whichever is lower. While attorney fees are capped at $7,200, lawyers are often paid less. Typically, the SSA withholds 1/4 of your past due benefits and pays the money directly to your attorney. Back payments, also called back pay, past due benefits, or back due benefits, refer to disability payments that accumulated while you were waiting for Social Security to approve your case. The amount of your back pay depends on your established onset date of disability, when you filed for benefits, and whether you're applying for SSDI or SSI. This is something to take note of. Changes in the Social Security disability attorney fee structure. In March of 2024, Social Security announced that the agency was planning on increasing the fee cap in fall of 2024, from $7,200 to $9,200. As well, Social Security has said that, going forward, the fee cap will be adjusted annually based on increases in the cost of living, COLA, in line with most other disability benefits. This means that the fee cap will no longer be a set amount, but will change every year to keep up with inflation and other economic factors. Be sure to ask your attorney about the fee cap amount for the year when discussing fee agreements. With direct payment of fees, clients avoid the hassle of arranging payment for their lawyers, and attorneys get paid without needing to bill their clients. But in order to collect a direct payment from a client's back pay, attorneys must submit a fee agreement to Social Security. The fee agreement requires both attorney and client to agree to a contingency fee arrangement, meaning your lawyer doesn't get paid unless you win your case. Fee agreements are often called two-tier agreements because they provide for two different scenarios. You're awarded benefits at or before the hearing level. In this case, the regular fee structure, 25% of back pay capped at $7,200, applies. You're appealing an unfavorable hearing decision to the Appeals Council or federal court. Your lawyer can then submit a fee petition to the SSA instead of accepting the standard contingency fee. Most standard fee agreements also contain a provision that an attorney may submit a fee petition to Social Security if they performed an unusually large amount of work on your case. In a few situations, your attorney may be able to collect more in fees than the $7,200 cap. When this occurs, your lawyer needs to submit a fee petition and ask Social Security for permission to collect more than the maximum fee amount. Here are some examples. You fired your attorney and hired a second attorney. You were denied benefits at the disability hearing level and your lawyer appealed to the Appeals Council or to federal court. Fee petitions are commonly required when a client switches lawyers, and the original attorney didn't waive fees, agree not to charge a fee, when the new attorney was hired. When this happens, the current disability attorney needs to file a fee petition with Social Security so that the fee can be split between the two attorneys. If both lawyers did a significant amount of work, Social Security may approve a fee higher than $7,200. Even if you've kept the same attorney throughout the disability appeals process, once you reach federal district court, new rules apply. Federal courts don't have a fee limit, so your attorney fees will likely be more than $7,200. But you might be able to have the U.S. government pay your attorney fees under the Equal Access to Justice Act, EAJA. A fee petition must contain an itemized list of the attorney's activities on the case. Your attorney will send the fee petition to Social Security after your case is complete, and will send a copy to you as well. Fee petitions aren't particularly complicated documents. Your attorney's fee petition will include the date they worked on your case, what they did for your case, how long they worked on it for, and how much money it cost. The full fee petition will include all work your attorney did on your disability claim, such as filing documents, communicating with Social Security, requesting medical records, and representing you at a disability hearing. It's important to remember that your lawyer isn't charging you for these fees, but needs to document what they did in order to be reimbursed by Social Security. The SSA will approve the petition only if the attorney fees requested are reasonable. Reasonable fees are determined by factors such as how complex your case is, how much work your attorney put into it, your lawyer's level of experience, and which level of appeal your case went to. You can object to or comment on the fee petition if you wish. Out-of-pocket expenses aren't included in Social Security's fee limit. Disability attorneys often have to pay up-front costs to obtain medical records and get opinion letters from doctors. Some lawyers might charge you for these documents plus incidentals such as mileage, copying, and postal services. In a typical disability case, expenses such as these are usually around a few $100s. Your lawyer might ask you to sign an expense agreement separate from the usual contingency fee agreement, or the fee agreement might have a clause, a few sentences related to expenses, that describes what you'll pay for and what your attorney is responsible for. Because expenses aren't contingent on whether you win your disability claim, you might have to pay them even if you lose. Ask your lawyer about this before you sign the agreement. Don't be shy or hesitate to ask your attorney questions about fees and expenses. After all, it is you who is paying his bill. His fee is coming out of your settlement. I hope you found this informative. I'm gonna pass this back over to Jimmy. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Dave. I just want to add to what Dave was telling us here. One of the most important things you can do, whether you go with an attorney or you're going to go apply on your own, the most important thing you have to do is keep records. You have to realize going on Social Security disability, this is your new job. This is your new career. You're not on vacation. All right, I know you're sick. I know you're hurt. I know maybe you're on Social Security disability because of an accident. Something happened at work or at school or in a car. This is your new career. You have to keep the medical records. You have to keep a record of every doctor's appointment you go to. Now I'm going to suggest this. Take $3, $4, go to the stationery store and buy yourself a package of manila folders. Take those folders and put your doctor's names on the tab for each folder. And every time you go to the doctor, get the medical report for each appointment and put those appointments in the appropriate folders for the doctors. Every doctor's appointment. You don't leave that doctor's appointment without a report. Get on the portal for each doctor. Check that portal regularly. And you want to copy whatever you don't have and put it in the appropriate folder. The same thing if you have to go to the doctor and you have to take a cab or an Uber or a private car. Get a receipt and have a special folder for car service receipts. Now that might not help you with Social Security disability, but that'll help you with the taxes at the end of the year. Now that's something else that you have to realize. Even though you're receiving Social Security disability, you still have to file your taxes at the end of the year. You're not going to have to pay anything, most probably. I'm not an accountant. But you still have to file the forms. Now you can claim anything that you had to pay medically for your care, anything that you had to buy over the counter for your care. The car receipts, because you had to go back and forth to the doctor's appointments. Your co-payments. Keep receipts for everything and give them to your accountant. You never know. I know somebody that ended up getting money back. Make sure you follow the rules. Now here's another thing. And this happens, and this will be explained more in another episode. But keep this in mind. Like I said, being on Social Security, it's your new career. And part of that career is making sure you go to the doctor. I know once you're feeling a little bit better, going to the doctor can be a pain in the ass. But you're sick. There's a reason that you're going to the doctor. You have an injury, or you have a disease, or you have some kind of disability that has to be maintained, that has to be checked, that has to be monitored. If you're not going to do that, then consider yourself not disabled. Living on disability, it's a godsend for some of us that cannot go back to work. But if you're able-bodied, if you can go back to work, by all means go back to work. That's just, a little tidbit, a little help. Because living on disability is not meant to be a career. Unfortunately, it becomes one for some people, and thank God it's there to help out. But if you can go back to work, by all means go. This isn't a vacation, like some people might think. It's not a vacation, it's far from it. But anyway, again, that's for another episode. But I just wanted to stress, whether you go with an attorney or you go it on your own, get receipts. Keep receipts. Don't depend on them to be online, because anything can happen to something online. Make sure you have hard copies. Make sure you keep the hard copies. You may end up with a file cabinet for the hard copies, but make sure you have them. That'll be in your best interest, because it'll come in handy with filing for disability. It'll come in handy with those checks that Social Security sends you. Sometimes that they send it once a year. Sometimes they send it every 3 years, every 5 years. Those updates to make sure you're still disabled. All that information will come in so handy, make things so easy for you. That's the big takeaway from this. Keep receipts. Now you know who does pay the Social Security disability attorneys. It's you. That's your money going to them. It's either 25% of your settlement or $7,200, or actually starting this year, it's going to $9,200, and after this, it's going to go up like the cost of living bumps go up. It'll go up a couple of percents. Soon it'll be over $10,000 that the attorneys can get from people applying for Social Security disability. Plus, they can get expenses on top of that. The thing is, they only get paid if you win. But here's the other side. If you listen to what Dave was saying, if you lose, they can come after you for expenses. And believe me, when attorneys come after you for expenses, I'm talking about they'll come after you for the price of a postage stamp. They'll come after you for the price of sheets of paper, for man-hour time, for copying expenses. I've seen lawyers nitpick. Paper clips, pencils, you name it, they put it on their expense sheets. And why shouldn't they, I guess? They're paying for it. If they didn't make any other money off you, well, you might as well pay for what they had to use trying to get you money. So keep that in mind. But I want to thank you for stopping by today. Thank you for being here for the 401st episode of An Apple a Day, Living with a Disability. I want to apologize again for the long absence, but it couldn't be helped. It was health-wise, and again, I'll explain that in another episode. And I want to remind you, things can always be worse. That's right, my friends. Things can always be worse. Right now, there's somebody somewhere wishing that they were in your position. So things can always be worse. I want to thank you one more time, and I want to remind you, you've been listening to An Apple a Day, Living with a Disability. I'm your host, Jimmy Apple, and I will talk to you again real soon. Have a great one today, my friends.
Hey, have you joined our Facebook group, Living with a Disability yet? No? What are you waiting for? People are chatting, having fun, asking and answering questions, sharing experiences and making friends. Don't be shy, stop on by. You'll be happy you did. Simply go to www.famousapple.com/group. You'll be glad you did. The address is in the show notes for this episode. Don't miss the next episode of An Apple a Day, Living with a Disability, where host Jimmy Apple delves into the realities of living with a disability. Gain insights, hear inspiring stories, and join the conversation. Tune in for valuable advice and support in navigating daily challenges. This is an important topic. Let's keep the conversation alive.